in the wrong location, because look where the door is. So that's sort of a clear indication. I guess it's possible to have a mail stop that far, but it wouldn't make sense in this scenario. But we also have a second issue here. So we have two issues, not just the misplot, but we have a grouping, because actually that mailbox sits down there with 199 through 201. And it's a row of boxes, because we Googled it and we saw that row of boxes on Google Earth. And then, so that 198 needs to be moved, but then it also needs to be included in the group that's already there. And remember, I know that's already a group because I have a dash. I have a dash in between that 199 and 201.
I thought that your insurance was to cover your part of it.
So again, we got to move it, and then we got to group it. We do that, and that's the only issue. Submit it, you'll have a line of travel. All right, so another issue, a little different. We're on Sunset Road, and so this part of Sunset Road, the carrier only drives it one direction. You can see that because I've only got one line there. But if I look inside that orange circle, I see number 1, I see 592, I see 2, and I see 591. And then I see 500, 590s, and 580s around it. So why is 1 and 2, my sequence number 1 and 2, which is my first and second address from the edit book, up here in my 590s? That's toward the end of the route. So this is a good example of an EORS. So EORS, managers address those through the computer, and they are created sometimes when there's new addresses or active addresses that just become active. So maybe the manager addressed those EORS, put them in, and again, what happens is if you don't put them in the edit book fast enough, when a manager addresses them in the system, it will throw them into the front of the edit book. Always put them in the very front of the edit book as the first, and in this case, second address. So that's why they're address number 1 and 2. So you need to go back. We're in DPM. We need to go and fix the sequence number to whatever it should be. Looks like it maybe should be 592, 593, and get that corrected. So that is a mail stop. And again, it's all about that mail stop, because I can't draw the line of travel. What happened in LTM, I never saw the carrier leave the post office and go to Sunset Road first. So that's why I got the error. I don't go to Sunset Road until almost the end of the route. So I couldn't draw a line of travel saying that his first stop was on Sunset Road. So the route got rejected, and you had to come back to DPM.
Susan, I think she did.
So again, we're going to give you some information to help make you successful, to help make this process as painless, but you got to do your part. You've got to update your edit book. You've got to ensure these carriers are carrying their scanners with them, scanning accurately, and driving the line of travel. Once you fix it, that will then submit the route. It should put it in that REX review required, and you can proceed. All right, so now we're going to move to next steps and resources. So we're almost there. Just hang with me about 8 more minutes, guys. 8 more minutes and we'll wrap up. But I need you to stay on. Very important stuff here. So before you begin mapping, make sure the facilitator and manager have access. DPM and LTM, make sure they are active. Make sure it's the right level of access. Please ensure you check it before you sit down with the carrier. There's nothing worse than getting down with the carrier, already put the RCA on the route, and now you're scrambling, because I promise if there's something wrong with your access, we can't get it fixed immediately. It can take 24 to 48 hours to go back to the approval process, so check it beforehand. And if one of my team members would post the link, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. So then you want to schedule the date and time of mapping of each route. You want to schedule the replacement to cover the route via map and the facilitator's route. So if the facilitator is the carrier, you have to also cover that route. And so how do we pay carriers when we're mapping? So the day that we're mapping their route, we're going to pay the regular carrier as a DACA code P, P for Paul. Also, if the facilitator is a carrier, we're going to pay them a DACA code P as well, P for Paul. Then you want to communicate the mapping schedule to the carriers. Again, use that stand-up talk on the blue page. We're going to keep that open line of communication, keep them informed at all times. We're going to ensure the facilitator and carrier have access to the edit book that's been updated and the 403 that has also been updated. You're going to escalate any access issues or blockers to your district for assistance in that category. The day of REX mapping, the carrier of the route being mapped must be present throughout the entire process. In case of any technical problems, contact the appropriate resources for support, and we're going to provide those for you in just a moment. And receive management EAS approval prior to the route submission in both DPM and LTM. Manager has to review it and approve it. And then lastly, make sure to provide feedback. Provide feedback to your districts who can pass that information along to you through the mapping process, as well as at the end. You know, we've made some great enhancements to these applications.